Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Mitch from We in Tennessee. And yes, you did take a look at the title of this video. And I'm going to say, before you start to do any judgment on this, I'm going to let you know that this actually could be a very good thing, depending on your perspective of quality of life. So here we go. The title of the article that I read, and this was on a Yahoo website. So right there, you might go, oh, mainstream media, was the title Tennessee is ranks the worst place to live in the United States. So obviously that got my attention. I'm like, click, let me find out why we are the worst. But again, be careful. What somebody might think is worse is somebody thinks is the best. So here we go. I dived into the article, and oh, by the way, I'll leave you the link, but don't leave now. I'll leave you the link to the article in the description, so after this video is over, you can check it out for yourself. But here is the article basically stating that Tennessee, is the worst place to live in the United States out of all the 50 states. And I was scratching my head going, man, I have to find out what made us so bad. So here we go. They listed three things. The first thing was crime. Now, everybody can kind of assume, oh yeah, Memphis side of the state, there's a high crime rate. So does Chicago, but that didn't make the list of the worst states to live in. And I'm not going to bore you with the facts and figures of the murder rates and the crime rates. We can all kind of understand, all right, yeah, we get it. Memphis, and there might be some other hot spots, but Memphis is probably the number one place in the state that caused the crime rate to drop. And I have no issues with that as far as ranking us as one of the lower, you know, places in the country to live. I get that. Now, number two, I was scratching my head going, inclusiveness. And I was like, okay. Now, it's one of those things where in the article, they listed the items and then below they would explain it. So I'm like, okay, I'll get to the bottom and figure out what that meant. And the third thing was worker relations or workplace environment. And I was like, okay, I don't understand what that means either. I'll wait till I get to the bottom of the article. So here we go. Now, inclusiveness, as soon as I read this, I was like, oh man, it had to do with the LGBTQ community, having them feel like they were a part of everything that's going on in the state. We're talking about laws. We're talking about, I think you guys you're going to go, oh yeah, I get what you mean. Our state has, put into action some laws that prohibit, that restrict some LGBTQ activity, what have you. I'm not going to get into the details. But as soon as I read that, and as soon as I saw who did the survey or the study, CNBC, that's when the whole curtain just went, ah, now I understand why Tennessee was last. It was now this whole thing, and you guys know CNBC, mainstream media. They're going to take a look at that and go, now every state was given point values, and you're given points for certain things, and Tennessee was the last. Now, if there was one good thing we got some points on, it was the air quality. And I'm like, okay, CNBC, you just threw us a little bone there and said, hey, good job on air quality. But I was like, that's it? They really didn't go into other details. Like, what did we get good points on other than that? But after figuring out what we didn't get points with, I was like, whatever. Your study is so incredibly biased. So, guys, that's basically it. They did not specify what the worker relationship or environment had to do with. I'm not sure if that had to do with the LGBTQ issue. They never said. And so I'm not going to rant about this too much. Here's what my takeaway from this was. hey, if CNBC is doing this study and they rank us the worst, I would say, you know what? That means that we must be doing a great job as a state. Because here's why. If they, in their agenda, go, hey, we're not going to give you guys certain points for this issue, that must mean that our state, and take this, look at all the other states that were in the top 10 of the worst. If you notice, they're all red states. And, CNBC would look at all those other red states and go, hey, they're not doing what we want them to do either. And so, you can take this whole thing and with a grain of salt and go, oh, now I understand. They have an agenda. And if your state doesn't meet the agenda, then we are going to rank you the worst. So again, this is where we flip it around and go, hey, what you see as worse is what we see as good. And so, and that's the one thing that you have to definitely realize with, I guess, our society and our just the way things are going is worst actually can be good, but you know, they take good and turn it into worse, if you know what I mean. So again, all this to say, don't feel so bad when you get our state of Tennessee, when we get ranked the worst. It actually, when you look like and when you dive under in all the details, you'll realize, you know what? Somebody's doing a good job in all the other red states. And you might ask, well, hey, Mitch, I didn't read the article. Which state made it like the best? Vermont was number one. And then again, now you're going, oh, yeah, okay, I understand. They're getting all these points for the things that we don't necessarily agree with. And so that's how this works, you guys. So again, if you check out the description, I'll let you read the article for yourself. But definitely, look at the details of who did the study, what was their ranking, like how did they come up with all of these points? And then you'll realize, oh, I get it. I don't mind being last. I don't mind being looked at as not, to their standards, a state that's worthy of all these points. Tennessee, I'm glad we came in last. I'm glad we were in the list of the worst because that means, according to their criteria, we're doing a great job. So anyway, guys, that's my take for today's video of why we were the worst state to live in. But again, you guys know me. I love the people here. I love our conservative values. I love that we serve God, we serve our country, we are for our police and our fire department, and we're about God and country here. So if you love this content, go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday. I will see you in my next video.